Good morning. So we continue through the Gospel of Mark. We are finishing up chapter 11. It's only 6 verses or 7, but they're actually kind of interesting and it might take us a little while. So let's unpack them as best we can. All right. Again, they came to Jerusalem. As he was walking in the temple, the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders came to him and said, "By what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you this authority to do them?" Jesus said to them, "I will ask you one question. Answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin? Answer me." They argued with one another. "If we say from heaven," he will say, "why then did you not believe him? But shall we say of human origin?" They were afraid of the crowd, for all regarded John as truly a prophet. So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." Okay, so this is the question. They want to know what authority Jesus has. They're trying to trap him. They're trying to get him to say that he is doing this with the full authority of God. Why are they trying to trap him? Well, let's have a look at some things further back. So we've got these chief priests, the scribes, the elders are all coming to him and they are rejecting his teaching. Well, interesting, because all the way back in Mark chapter 8, when just before Jesus gave Peter a hard time, he told us that he would be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes. And sure enough, that's exactly what is happening. So, when we go back to Mark chapter 2, when he was healing the paralytic, the person who was led in through the ceiling of the place where he was, people were absolutely astonished when he said, son, your sins are forgiven." Instead of just healing the paralytic, he forgave his sins. And some scribes who were sitting there were quite upset. They said, "Why does he speak in this way? It is blasphemy. Who can forgive sins but God alone?" So they're really wanting Jesus to say, "I'm doing this because I have the authority of God." They want to catch him in the sin of blasphemy. Jesus, however, is very clever. He says to them, "Well, I will answer your question if you answer my question. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin?" Now, John the Baptist was very popular. You'll remember that he was killed by Herod, but Herod was so freaked out by the popularity of Jesus, he wondered if John the Baptist had come back again. Such was the power that people thought was afforded to John the Baptist. People very much believed that John the Baptist was a prophet. And so they did. So the scribes did not want to say that John the Baptist was anything other than a very holy man, and so that because they were afraid of the crowds, they had themselves stuck. They didn't know what to do. They really wanted to catch Jesus out, but they also didn't want to answer his question. So they said to Jesus, "We don't know." That was their cop out. And so Jesus said, "Well, if you aren't willing to give me a clear answer, I won't give you a clear answer." Now, you could read this as a stalemate, that nobody particularly won any ground here, but I disagree. I think Jesus really has won this one because he is basically anyone who's present knows what Jesus is driving at, but he's also making sure that he doesn't actually say it because he's not ready at this time to go through with his trial and his crucifixion. That still needs a little bit of time. So why did Saint Mark bring up the baptism? Seems like a strange thing to bring up, but there were a lot of people present at Jesus' baptism. So why did he bring it up? Well, I think he decided that it was important for us, the reader, to be reminded of the baptism. What happened at Jesus' baptism? Well, at Jesus' baptism, the voice from heaven said, "This is my son with whom I am pleased. This is my son, listen to him." And so we're getting that reminder that Jesus is indeed God's son and that he has the authority to forgive sins as well as all the other things that he has the authority to do. Okay, so just a few verses there, but a lot to unpack. Hope you understand it better. Okay, bye bye now.